Now, let's talk about Pete Hegseth and his communications. Now, the whole Signal Gate popped off a couple of weeks ago. Well, apparently, this dude been communicating with Signal for multiple conversations. This dude is destructive, and he might be almost out. So, this is an article on NPR. Multiple outlets are reporting on this as well. It says exclusive. The White House is looking to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. The White House has begun the process of looking for a new leader in the Pentagon to replace Pete Hegseth, according to a U.S. official who was not authorized to speak publicly. This comes as Hegseth is again mired in controversy over sharing military operational details in a group chat. The defense secretary is under fire after revelations that he shared classified information in a group chat with his wife, brother, and lawyer, according to the official. Classified information. The source said Hegseth used the Signal messaging app on his personal smartphone, detailing minute-by-minute classified information about airstrikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. It happened at the same time in March that Hegseth shared similar details with the top White House officials in a different Signal chat group. That accidentally included a journalist. That leak, hours before airstrikes hit, could have endangered U.S. pilots if that information about timing of strikes was intercepted by U.S. adversaries. Already, the Houthis have twice shot down American Predator drones. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied that there's an effort to replace Hegseth, posting on X that Trump stands strongly behind him. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump backed Hegseth and said concerns over Signal chats are a waste of time. He's doing a great job. Ask the Houthis how he's doing, Trump said. Hegseth had denied wrongdoing at the White House Easter event earlier Monday. This is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees and then try to slash and burn people, ruin their reputation. It's not going to work with me. Hegseth was likely referring to the senior advisors who left the Pentagon abruptly last week. Former Defense Department spokesperson John Uliot resigned and then published an opinion piece calling the past month at the Pentagon a full-blown meltdown of infighting that is hurting Trump. 3 other Pentagon advisors, Dan Caldwell, Colin Carroll, and Darren Selnick, were escorted out of the Pentagon and accused of leaking information to the press. The trio then put out a joint statement on X calling their dismissal unconscionable and saying they have not been told what they stand accused of leaking. All 3 of us served our country honorably in uniform. For 2 of us, this included deployments to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And based on our collective service, we understand the importance of information security and worked every day to protect it, they wrote. Unlike Pete Hegseth, who's out here using Signal on his own phone. Caldwell and Selnick are longtime associates of Hegseth, who worked with him at Concerned Veterans for America, a right-leaning policy group. So these are MAGA people. These are not like liberals that came over with the Biden administration. These are MAGA. New Hampshire Senator Jeanine Shaheen, a Democrat in the Armed Services Committee, said in a statement that Hegseth should accept responsibility. But we must not forget that the ultimate responsibility here lies with Trump for selecting a former weekend TV host without any experience successfully leading a large and complex organization to run our government's biggest department and make life and death decisions for our military and country. She said, a former weekend TV host. She really wanted to come with it, and I think that she proved her point. I think that she made her point right there. So supposedly Trump is standing behind him, but Trump is not standing behind Jerome Powell. Trump ramps up attacks on Powell, demands loser Fed chair lower rates now. Trump ratcheted up his pressure campaign on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Trump on Truth Social called Powell a major loser and warned that the U.S. economy could slow down unless interest rates fall immediately. Trump and his team are studying whether they can legally fire the central bank leader before his term is set to expire. So this was all popping off as of this morning. Here's Jerome Powell. So this is what Trump wants. Preemptive cuts in interest rates are being called for by many, but so are tariffs being cut. Many people are also doing that. Trump claimed that there is currently virtually no inflation in the United States and that costs for energy and most other things are on the decline. I don't know what are the other things. With these costs trending so nicely downward, just what I predicted they would do, there can almost be no inflation, but there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, a major loser, lowers interest rates now, Trump wrote. Trump's latest salvo against Powell, whom he appointed during his first administration, so again, this is not a Biden holdout, come as the president and his team are studying whether they can legally fire the central bank leader before his term expires in May of next year. Powell has flatly stated that the president cannot remove him under the law. Any attempt by Trump to fire Powell will likely trigger a steep sell-off in United States equity markets, Evercore's ISI's vice chairman, Krishna Guha, told CNBC on Monday. If you start to raise questions about the Federal Reserve independence, you are raising the bar for the Federal Reserve to cut. If you actually did try to remove the Federal Reserve chairman, I think you would see a severe reaction in the markets with yields higher, dollars lower, and equities selling off, Guha told the Squawk Box. I can't believe that that's what the administration is trying to achieve. All right, so that's what Guha said. But let's talk about what did happen today in the markets. Stocks tumble and dollar hits 3-year low as Trump bashes Powell again. Now, this happened this afternoon. That other article that I did was from this morning when they were talking about Trump calling him a loser. U.S. stocks ended the day sharply lower Monday, and the dollar tumbled as investors assessed continued tariff uncertainty and the implications of Trump's ongoing mission to try and oust Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Dow fell 972 points, or 2.48%. The broader S&P 500 fell 2.36%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite slid 2.55%. The three major indices slumped throughout the day before pulling back slightly in the afternoon. The sell-off on Monday was widespread as nearly every company in the Dow and the S&P 500 closed lower. All three major indices are coming off a week in the red and are on pace for their worst month since 2022. The U.S. dollar index, which measures the dollar's strength against 6 foreign currencies, slumped more than 1% to its lowest level in more than 3 years. Wall Street has been on edge since Trump on Thursday lashed out at Powell and said on social media that this termination cannot come fast enough. So the markets are really reflecting Trump's just dysfunction, his chaos. He has no plan. And since he has no plan with these tariffs to pull back from the tariffs, he thinks that he can bully this man. So let's keep Hegseth in, a drunk, someone who hasn't run anything, no leadership skills. But let's try to bully this man out, even though he's just doing his job and responding to what is going on in the market. That is what MAGA has voted for. This is what y'all voted for when you voted for Trump. Yay, let's go. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.